Hello and welcome to Skills Pays Bills Boxing, back with another video, and this time I'm going to be doing a short prediction video on the Daniel Dubois versus Ricardo Snijders fight that takes place later this evening, live from the BT Sports studio in Stratford. Now, like many of you, I was very disappointed when I heard that Pfeiffer was out. Amateur pedigree, undefeated record and a different skill set. This guy was going to present Daniel with some real difficulties. So much so that even the likes of Joe Joyce and several other professionals and trainers had mentioned that Frank Warren could be doing what was known as a wrong-un by putting Daniel in with someone of that level, because Daniel, being a young fighter, only having the 7 senior amateur bouts, was going to fight someone that had fought Anthony Joshua and had been successful on the world stage and was a hardened veteran around the circuit. Now, around about 5 weeks ago, I heard that Pfeiffer had contracted COVID. So for me, when I heard that he had contracted that, I thought straight away the fight's off, because the source is very, very much reliable. To then see that the fight was actually going to take place weeks as it gets closer, it was just getting closer and closer. I was thinking, well, the source that I've seen this from is very, very good on the European circuit, normally gets it right. So I'm surprised. Then you obviously hear with a couple of weeks to go that the fight's off, and it's majorly disappointing. Now, I understand Frank Warren's reasoning, and he shows the proof in an interview. So now we think, who's next? So straight away they get the opponent in. You look and you see an 18-1 record, Ricardo Snijders. To me, I look and I think, okay, he's got a winning record, but we've seen this before. Dubois fought people with winning records that have not offered anything. So I go and have a look. I'm not a box rec warrior. I'm not someone who's going to run over someone's box rec and tear someone apart. I need to see the evidence. So what do? I go on box rec. I analyse his opposition. I see who he's been up against. What I noticed straight away is that this guy is a cruiserweight. He's fighting cruiserweights throughout his career. He's been operating against the cruisers. He's won the Dutch cruiserweight title and the Dutch heavyweight title. But even in one of his most recent outings, he takes a fight against Big Joe Jaco, who many of us all know, who fought Craig Kennedy on Channel 5 a few years ago. He loses that fight. So then I look and I think, okay, he's operating mostly against cruisers. Let's see what he's like stylistically. Straight away, I see that this is a come-forward fighter who offers very, very little head movement. He's flat-footed, doesn't particularly use a jab. If anything, if he does use the jab, it's very sparingly. And he's very straight ahead. And what he looks to do is get into range by using the high guard, putting pressure on fighters, dipping down, ripping to the body and coming up to the head. It screams to me that this fight is all Dubois. It's all on Dubois tonight. It's about what he wants to do, having been out of the ring for 10 months, coming out a career heaviest. And how's he going to pace this fight? Because this guy is giving away around about possibly 30 pounds. This is the biggest man he will have fought, because Ricardo's amateur record, you see that he actually boxed around about 91 kg. He's boxing against guys that are not that big, not that athletic, and Daniel's got a magnificent jab and he's got power in both hands. This fight to me is as short as it needs to be for Daniel, or as long as he wants to make it. I cannot see Snijders presenting anything other than being a punch bag for Dubois. Now, that's not to be disrespectful to Ricardo. You know, it's just calling it as I see it. Ricardo has got to overcome a significant height disadvantage, a more than significant weight disadvantage, and then technically and physically, is he even on the same level? I don't think so. I don't think he's better with speed. I don't think he's going to have better skills. I see Dubois' jab causing him lots of problems because of where he situates his hands and his head. It doesn't move, he doesn't change levels, and he doesn't move his feet in and out of range. He doesn't move across the line. So it's easy for Dubois to be able to do the things he wants to do, to get the backhand into play, to slip the uppercut in, because Ricardo leans in to try and get to the body. So for me, it's as long a fight as Daniel wants it to be. And for Ricardo, I've seen some people mentioning getting on his bike and moving, he may try that. He may surprise us, and he may have that toughness. Now, being a Dutch fighter, you know, some of the Dutch lads have been introduced at a young age to kickboxing. So they're used to being kicked in the head. They're tough people. But will it be enough? Because against someone like Dubois, he's a naturally heavy-handed fighter off both hands. I just cannot see how Snijders copes with the disadvantages. As I say, some people say that Snijders might move on the back foot. I can't see it myself. I don't think he's capable. I don't think this guy's coming over to just make up the numbers. I think he'll want to make an impact. And he's not going to win this fight on points. He might try and survive a little bit, and he might circle round, but his footwork is not proficient enough. He's not sharp enough on his feet to be able to do those type of things. So for me, I can't see it. I don't think he'll be comfortable doing it. And then also you've got to gather in the fact that Dubois got a fantastic jab. We've seen people like Tom Little try to move around, and he's more of a natural mover than Snijders, and he struggled. Daniel picked off the body and went to the head. Daniel is very commanding in the centre of the ring. If you go towards and back up against the ropes, as even Nathan Gorman found, it's okay trying to wing check hooks and trying to counter punch, but you know, if you're not proficient with your back to the ropes, you're in big trouble, because it's not an easy place. It's not a nice place to be. You've got to have a natural instinct to fight with your back against the ropes. And again, I can't see him operating with skill from centering, being crafty enough with his footwork to make Daniel miss and to make him pay. So for me, I see this as a quick fight. I see this as Daniel inside 4. Depending on how he wants to go about it, it should be a short night's work.